What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Castaway Coals. This is the first video on this channel and I'm super excited. My name is Val. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably either thinking about building your own bug out bag or you already have one and you just want to get some more influence, more ideas. You know, maybe you missed a few things, or maybe I missed a few things and you want to tell me in the comments down below, because realistically where you live is going to affect what's in your bag. If you live in a rural area versus a city, you might want more bushcrafting tools. Now, I live in the city, so I'm going to show you what's in my bag and let's get started. All right, let's get this focused. Perfect. Okay, let's talk about the bag itself. Now, this is a 45-liter military style backpack. It's from Amazon. I paid around $60 Canadian for it, so probably around 45 US, right? $40 US, somewhere around that price bracket. This bag is incredible. Now, the reason I chose a 45-liter bag is because it is a bigger size and you can downsize, upsize based on your situation and your surroundings, right? You can fit more things in here if you have to, if you pick up some stuff along the way and you want to throw them in the bag. It's incredibly modular, so you can put multiple attachments, multiple pouches on here to increase your storage, decrease your storage, whatever you want to do. You know, you can tie rope on here. It's just great hanging off by a tree. And so far, this bag has been holding up. The quality is pretty great. You have some heavy duty zippers on here, great waterproof lining around the bag. Okay, so let's start with the compartments. What do I have on the outside of my backpack here? So the very first thing you guys can see is a military style canteen. This military style canteen is perfect for carrying fresh water with you, right? Now, obviously this is not enough clean water to keep you alive for 72 hours, but this canteen also comes with a bottom layer right here, which is an aluminum little canister here. So it's like a little pot, essentially. You can see I used a little bit of it in the fire testing to boil some water. And yeah, that's essentially what it's for. It's made to boil water. You can make stew, you can make soups in here, possibly cook actual food, maybe throw some fish in there or something, right? So this is a great tool to have. And it's incredibly lightweight. I mean, this weighs virtually nothing, right? It's just straight up aluminum. This costs around $10, $15 on Amazon. That's where I purchased it. And it's a great tool. It came with this pouch that also comes with another little pouch, which there's a spork in it. So this is a cute little spork here, you know? You can eat your soup, poke some stuff, eat it. Whatever, super lightweight, built out of the same material as the bottom of it. Okay, so moving on to the front of the bag. We're gonna start from the front and move our way to the back. So in the front, I have my readily accessible medical kit. This specific pouch right here, I purchased separate from the backpack. Incredibly easy access, and you just pull it off the Velcro. This is what it looks like. It's a canvas material, matches the color of the backpack perfectly. All right, let me show you what's in here. So, first thing is a Israeli bandage. Now, these are incredible. They're vacuum sealed, so they're completely water resistant, right? These can be used for multiple cases. You know, if you're obviously bleeding, you can use this to make a cast, right? Any field dressing. These are great to have. Moving on, so this is what the rest of the kit looks like. As you can see, we have Tylenol, super important, right? It boosts morale. If you have a headache, you can't think straight, you can't focus on your own personal survival, right? So this is super important for me to have, is Tylenol. Another thing that you guys see right here is a tourniquet. Now, this is a blood trauma kit. If you get hit in the leg, anything can happen, right? Depends on the situation. There could be people with guns, right? So if you get shot and you want to dress your wound, this would be perfect for that. Obviously, once you apply a tourniquet, you really want to find medical assistance as soon as possible, or else you might lose your limbs. So there's that, but definitely great to have. So sticking with the theme of pain relieving, we have this stuff. It's called Tiger Balm. This stuff is fairly interesting. It's a pain relief cream. So basically you apply it topically to like your skin, usually to like a joint or something. If you've been hiking for miles and miles and miles and like all your whole body hurts, aches, you apply this to that area and it's great. Now, if you do decide to kind of bug off to a forest, then mosquitoes are going to be a massive factor to consider. So this is why I recommend wipes. I mean, you can get like little spray bottles, but they take up a little bit more space. But I feel like wipes, they're just ultra thin, right? You just wipe your body down and hopefully no mosquitoes. You know, especially if you have DEET in there. This is 30% DEET, so this is the heavy stuff. Ben's is a great brand, and this stuff works. I've tested this before in, you know, the deep bush, and yeah, no mosquitoes. I also have a ton of these chloride wipes. Now, chloride wipes is an antiseptic. If you want to wipe something down, you know, your wounds or maybe a surface where you're about to cook, you know, put raw meat on, this is great for that. You know, just avoid all the bacteria that comes with the outside world, especially in like an urban environment. And also little things, you know, key things in my opinion, like little thermometers. You know, you put this just under your tongue or just above your tongue and it measures your temperature. So if you have a fever or something like that, you'll definitely know about that. You can bring a type of hand sanitizer. It's always good to keep your hands clean. Any infections you get outside, you will most likely not have a good time. So, you know, cleaning wipes, again, sticking with the theme of wipes because they're so thin and super lightweight. And a big variety of bandages, you know, different sizes, things like that. But everything just keeps nice and neat in there. Super useful medical kit that's readily accessible at the front of your backpack is always a great thing to have. Okay, moving on to the upper portion of the backpack. Now this is the smallest section here. This is the fire starting kit. This is where all my fire gear is. And again, sticking with the theme of light travel, right? Because I don't want this bag to be too heavy, right? I also want the option of being able to put more things in it as I travel along my adventures. So the very first thing I have in here is just basic generic fire starters. Now this stuff can catch a spark and just spark up instantly. This stuff is absolutely amazing and crucial. A lighter. Now this is a classic Bic lighter, super small, very compact. Yeah, these are just super cheap, but yeah, these work usually after a rainstorm. Like you just kind of, you know, dry it off, and these are very, very reliable. And even once the gas is done, you can still use it to kind of make sparks, right? I've heard stories where these have washed up on deserted islands and there's no gas in here, but the flint still works after just floating in the ocean for many months and possibly years. Yeah, so these are great. Now, of course, you guys know about the rod here. This is a flint rod, ferro rod, magnesium rod, whatever you want to call it. These are a great addition. All you got to do, you can strike it with like a rock, with the back of a blade, you know, a knife. And you can use this to light in the rain and crazy winds. I mean, these sparks are incredibly hot, so really good tool to have. All right, guys, so moving on to my second biggest compartment here. This is a big one. This is what I consider my food and essentials, right? So the first thing, since we're on the theme of staying alive for 72 hours, is this SOS Food Labs 72-hour food ration. So basically it's a package of 9 vacuum sealed fortified food bars. They provide around 3,600 calories. These are great, right? They have like a shelf life of like 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, I've seen people eat these like 80 years old, right? In old military MREs, if you guys have seen those videos. But yeah, these are incredibly good. A little bit on the heavier side, but I mean, you can't argue with food, right? This is gonna keep you alive if there's no like wild animals or if you don't have any tools to hunt. If you're looking for more protein, I personally chose sardines. Sardines are great, especially in cans like this. It's very thin, lightweight, you know, tons of protein. You got some other macronutrients in here. And yeah, if you're a fan of fish, I mean, whatever, these are perfect. If you've already finished your crackers and then you finish this, then chances are you've already surpassed 72 hours. Then it's time to go hunting or fishing for food. We got a nice little plate. These are super cheap, very lightweight, extremely sturdy, little prison plates as I call them, I guess military plates. But yeah, you can find these for really cheap, like $5 to $10 on Amazon, Walmart. As far as like snacks, we have these almonds. These are a great choice if you want to just like a quick boost of energy. You have these. Same thing with these sesame crisps. These are great, you know, if you want to just boost your morale, something kind of sweet, right? Get your sodium levels up. These are a great option. I usually carry at least 5 of these and 1 of these. So those are great options for that. Now, along with the food, I always like a little boost of energy, and for that we have coffee. I carry this instant coffee. It comes already prepackaged with like sugar and like dehydrated milk. And yeah, you literally just put this in hot water or even room temperature water, and most of the time it tastes pretty good, gives you energy and keeps your head high, you know? Now, if you run out of all of that food and you caught yourself a rat or a squirrel or a porcupine, whatever, and it just didn't really taste that good, you want to get that taste out of your mouth, you bring yourself some gum. This is just classic XL gum, right? It's just ultra lightweight, really cheap. But yeah, you chew it and you got minty fresh breath. And if you guys want, bring yourself some candies. It's always good to keep your sugar levels up as well. These are just some caramels, you know, you just chew them forever essentially, and yeah, hopefully get a nice boost of energy. As far as utensils go, I mean, you guys have seen that spork that I had there in the canteen, but I also like to bring chopsticks. They're kind of multi-purpose, ultra lightweight. You know, they don't take up any room in your bag at all. And yeah, you just eat with them, start fires with them. So let's move on to cooking. How am I gonna cook all this food? Obviously, you know, there's an option with fires, but I get myself a nice little whisper stove, you know, these little rocket stoves. These are great. As you can see, I've already used this one. I've tested it multiple times, made some lavish meals out there in the woods, but yeah, you just screw it onto this butane, this propane here, and it's amazing. It lasts for a while. It's great under windy conditions. Now, as far as like how big of a can you should bring, this usually lasts about, you know, 4 to 5 meals you can cook with this. You can probably like 2 or 3 canteens with this. So this is a decent size. Again, it's only for 72 hours. Another great way to collect water is rain. So for rain, I have this little rain catcher. This is great. It's collapsible. It's made out of silicone and very just lightweight. These can also double as food containers, right? So you can put a meal in here, you can collapse it even more. You could put a whole soup in here, you know, maybe some rabbit stew, but this is great. You can catch water with this and just eat from it, drink from it. Very multi-purpose. Now, if you really have no more options, you can't boil water, like everything, you're absolutely screwed, I would highly, highly recommend, and you guys have seen these like plenty of times before, but life straws. Life straws have been tested so many times by thousands of people. These work. These are great. You literally just put it in a like dirty puddle or a pond somewhere, and you just suck from it, and you can just filter out gallons and gallons of water with just one of these straws. Anyways, that's water filtration. Okay, so moving on to the largest of compartments. So in this backpack, we have a very, very large compartment here. Now I'm gonna show you what's inside. If you finished all your food and you're starving and you don't really have anything to hunt with, this is why I would recommend this, a classic Powerline slingshot, or really any other slingshot. This gives you the capability of hunting, defending yourself, and just, I guess, entertainment if you just want to plink around at a tree or something, right? Yeah, you can hunt for food. You have unlimited ammo. You can just find like little pebbles, rocks, right? If you bring your own steel balls or glass ammunition as well, it's great. These are tried and tested. Super fun to use, and they work, you know, as long as you got your aim on point. You know, if you get one of these, I'd recommend practicing a bit. These don't take too long to learn. Now, another thing I have in that big container is a classic radio. Although this one is not so classic, because this one is almost like a Swiss Army knife. It has tons of features. It has 2 types of lights, obviously a radio, but it's shortwave radio as well. So during apocalyptic times, you know, you might not have FM, AM, but you might still have shortwave, right? There could be someone hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles away, and they're still broadcasting, right? That's what shortwave is made for. So the flashlight on this guy, super, super bright. It's hard to tell on camera, but this is a great quality one. I think I paid around $65 for this specific radio, and it also has this area light, which you flip it up. So, you know, you tie it to a tree, you can kind of see your whole entire area while you're eating, while you're cutting something. And it charges basically by 3 ways. Solar, which is great to have, but you know, if there's no sun, you're kind of screwed. This is why you have the crank feature. This will take a while, but if you're really trying to get some information from the outside world, this will definitely come in handy, right? And you can charge your phone directly from here, which is great. On your phone, if you downloaded offline maps, you know, music to stay entertained, you can use your camera, you can use it to make phone calls if the phone lines are still up, like so many use cases, right? And power is super important. Another great feature, this one specifically has a fairly bright LED. It shows the time, it shows the battery life. Now, there's 2 batteries in here. So there's like the main rechargeable battery, and there's also backup AAA batteries. So it's great to have, you know, once the main battery dies, you have the backup battery, which is, I guess a great option. Other than a radio, it also has a really loud alarm. Yeah, incredibly loud and annoying, but it might save you. I don't know, if you're in distress, you know, you broke your leg, you fell down a cliff, and you have this thing, you know, someone might come rescue you because they heard this. Who knows? So there's always different weather conditions, right? It could be snowing, it could be raining, and if you're wet and cold, you get hypothermia, you can possibly die. And you don't want that to happen. So this is why I bring gloves, a pair of gloves with me, and a pair of warm wool socks. These specifically are just generic work gloves. I purchased them for like $15. They are high quality. They're like fake leather, but they're really good quality. And yeah, these are great. You don't want to cut yourself or stay warm. These are the gloves for you. Also, these are work trail socks. These are amazing. The brand is Polar Paws. So these are great socks. All right, let's talk about knives and sharp objects, right? So if you want to cut some wood, I would recommend one of these saws. Now there's so many different versions of these, right? There's like super long ones, like really tiny baby ones, but this is what I got. I don't know, I'm probably gonna end up switching this one out. This one's it's kind of flimsy a little bit. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that wiggle there, but these are incredibly sharp serrated ends. You can tell it's a little worn. I have used it. It works incredibly well, like on nice branches, decent sized wood, about this thick. This works great, and it's foldable. Yeah, you can do a lot with this. Now for my main knife, I have a classic one right here. So this is a knife from Amazon. The brand is Right Edge. I've never really heard of it, but I got some good reviews, you know, on Amazon. This was also fairly cheap. I believe I paid like $29 for it, or $35, something like that. It's pretty cool. It's a decent size blade, but the handle comes with paracord built into it, right? So if you run out of rope, or if you got to quickly tie something down, this is the way. Also, what you can do is untie the paracord and retie it to a stick, and then you can kind of use this entire knife as a weapon, as a spear, essentially, right? It has serrated edges here, which are very sharp, and the actual blade is incredibly sharp directly from the factory. So I'm very surprised. Yeah, there's a lot of knives out there that they come very dull from the factory, but this one is so far held up pretty good. Okay guys, so what happens if you fully run out of food, right? Like you don't your slingshot broke, you know, you have no more food, you ate all your snacks, like everything is completely gone. You can't hunt anymore, your knife is broken. Well, there's always fishing. Fishing is always an option. So this is why I carry this little tackle box. Now this is a fully watertight sealed tackle box. And if you can see here, it was $5. 5 Canadian dollars. So I think like, you know, $2.99 US, somewhere around that. But yeah, it's super lightweight, very durable. It's like a hard kind of PVC plastic on it. And I'm gonna open it and show you what I keep here that I really need to keep dry. So here, as you can see, we got some batteries, good old Duracells. I got AA's, I got AAA's. I got a great Cabela's multi-tool. I've had this one for a few years. It's pretty good. And we have lures, we have hooks, we have weights, jigs, like everything you really need. So, and obviously I'm gonna load it up with some more stuff, but this is what I got so far. I am gonna put some fishing line in here because I don't think I have any, but now you're probably wondering, you know, how am I gonna fish, right? So I have this thing that I'm probably gonna test out in a video coming up very soon. But this is a full-on portable collapsible fishing rod. This thing is hilarious. I don't know how well it works, but this part is plastic mixed with metal. It's a little loose, a little wobbly. It's kind of interesting, but it's essentially designed as a pen, right? So you open it up here and a fiberglass rod comes out. And yeah, the whole purpose is this thing's supposed to catch you some fish. As long as you can at least catch 2 or 3 fish before this thing breaks, I think it's kind of done the job, right? Because the whole purpose of this backpack is to keep you alive for a minimum of 72 hours. And you know, it's not like a ultra long-term bag. Hopefully you have something else for that, but you know, like a plan. But yeah, I mean, this is a very unique little fishing rod. So we're gonna have to test that one out. All right, let's talk hygiene. So, you know, hygiene is pretty important. You know, it boosts morale. It's good to stay clean, you know, keep bacteria away and all that stuff. But obviously I got some tissues. These are kind of self-explanatory, multi-purpose. You know, you can start a fire with them. You can wipe your butt. great toilet paper, and yeah, I usually keep 2. They're just very lightweight. I have deodorant. So when I was at the store, they only had lady deodorant for some reason in this size, and it's very portable, but it's essentially the same stuff. But yeah, we got some good old secret lady baby powder deodorant here, and yeah, whatever. I guess once you're in a survival situation, I guess you can't be picky. We got ourselves some mouthwash. You know, I think this is, you know, one of those items where it's not a must-have, but you just kind of throw it in your backpack. It's very lightweight. It doesn't hurt to have on you. If you just ate like a rabbit or something, you know, swig back some mouthwash, you could do that. These things are pretty cool. So these are towels. So if you put a few drops of water directly onto it, it expands into like a fairly big towel. And yeah, this is multi-purpose, right? You can use it to wash your dishes, you know, wash your hands, dry them off. A lot of other purposes, right? Filter water if you really have to. Yeah, these are cool to have. Now, I don't have to explain to you guys how important duct tape is. I like to roll mine around like an old credit card or something. This is virtually an entire roll of duct tape. So yeah, great to have. This is some heavy duty stuff too. Okay, let's go for the big stuff. Believe it or not, this fits in the backpack fairly easily actually. So this is why I kind of like left some extra room. But this is a hiker slash biker tent. These are really unique because they're extremely lightweight. This one particularly is 3 pounds. So where is that? Right here, there we go. This is the footprint of it. It obviously holds only 1 person, which is all you would really need, right? In a survival situation. Yeah, no, these are pretty cool. You know, you can put a camouflage little tarp over it if you're really trying to be a little bit more low key. This is great to have. Now, talk about shelter. Obviously you have the tent, but another big thing if you do end up making your own is rope. You want to get plenty of rope. It's very lightweight. It takes almost no room in your backpack. But I usually carry 2 different types of rope, right? I have 550 military grade paracord. This stuff is from Bass Pro Shops. It's great. I've tried it before. This stuff is yeah, braided with 7 removable cores that can be used for emergency fishing line, thread snares, or other survival situations. So this one's a little unique, and that's pretty good. Also, I have this stuff. This is specifically from the dollar store. So let's zoom in here. Yep, $1.75. This is 15-meter long outdoor rope. I like to carry this. This is an emergency bivvy. This is a company a lot of you guys know, SOL. They make great stuff. Essentially, this is a kind of a tarp that you wear on your person, on your body. It's essentially a thermal blanket, right? So this one is very bright. It's an orange kind of color here. The outside is almost a tarpy kind of material. The inside is more like an insulated thermal blanket. So this is great. Yeah, you can build a whole entire tent out of this, or you just kind of wrap around your body if the temperatures get really, really cold at night, or if it's raining. And these don't get too expensive. I think these are around, you know, $20, $25. You can find them on sale all the time, right? If they're not in season. Now, since we live in the future, right, you will most likely have a phone on you. So this is why I'd always recommend at least carrying 1 cable. Like, this weighs nothing. It's super small. Most devices these days are USB-C. So, you know, like the newest iPhones, like all the iPads, like Androids, right? They're all USB-C. The radio I showed you guys, everything's USB-C. And yeah, bring a cable with you. That radio can just charge it up if you need to make a quick call, if the phone lines still work. But yeah, great to have. Now, you guys wouldn't be watching this video if you thought you knew everything about survival. So, and I don't either. So this is why I personally carry this book with me, right? This is a survival handbook. It is a great book. It's decently thick. Like, there's tons of information here. You know, let's see, what is this one here? So organizing your site, fire by friction, right? So there's different ways, taking shelter, you know, find and treat water. It's incredible. Like, there's different, yeah, everything you could possibly imagine is in this book. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's my backpack. Everyone's backpack will be completely different, right? Depends on your needs, your wants, your environment, like right where you live. Everything matters. And if I taught you guys anything, you know, or if I gave you some ideas about your personal bug out bag, please let me know in the comments. Like the video if you actually liked it. Subscribe if you actually want to see more videos. This is the very first video. Moving forward, we're going to be going outside. We're going to be doing some camping, bushcrafting, survival, and more of these videos too. So if you guys enjoyed the video, you know what to do. My name is Val. Thank you for watching. Peace.